Winning with money is both tactical and emotional, but the mindset that you have to have is behind every practical step. So we're going to walk through 4 things that you need to understand about mindset in order to build wealth. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend. All right, the first part of this is kind of like a mindset pep talk, if you will, because it's all around contentment. Okay, I'm starting off with this one because it's probably my number one struggle. But if you want to build wealth, you guys, contentment has to be your first mental shift. Because here's the thing. If you continue to build wealth and you're doing it because you want to be buying and buying and buying and getting more and more and more, consuming more and more and more and more, your life, honestly, is going to end up so empty because if the newness of stuff is what motivates your happiness, you're going to be a rat in a wheel constantly because you're never going to hit that finish line. Like, stuff will never satisfy you. Stuff is fun, and we talk about it here. You know, it's great. Go on a great trip, buy a new car if you have the money, like all the things. We're not mad at that stuff. But that cannot be the primary motivation. So what combats that really is contentment. So if you can put some consumerism, that being your motivation, on pause and finding contentment for a season, that is what's going to be magnified with your wealth long term, which is a beautiful thing. And people that are content, I mean, they get out of debt. People who are content will sacrifice their lifestyle to get out of debt. They save more, they give more. There is something about contentment that is so powerful today. I think it's a practice, but it's also a mindset. In 1 Timothy, it says, godliness with contentment is great gain. And there's something about that combination, that formula, that is so big because that's going to sustain you regardless of where you are financially today. And as you build wealth, and honestly, not to let wealth ruin you. Like, that contentment piece is so big. But the number one thing that gets in the way of contentment is usually comparison. Now, comparison is fascinating to me. Again, I think it's one of my tugs in life that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm kind of always have a natural bent of like sizing up and being like, okay, where's everyone in the pack? And I almost do that subconsciously. And I actually heard someone talk about this. They said not all comparison is necessarily bad. Like, there actually is something instinct within us where we do kind of look around just to see, okay, you know, where's everybody at in the pack? And there's like a survival thing that actually is embedded into who we are as people. And then there's also kind of a positive angle too of aspiring to do the same things in your life that other people are doing when they are good and healthy things. So you are allowed to have goals and to strive and to reach them. But comparison becomes really unhealthy when you kind of get to this point of either you feel superior or inferior. And that's what Craig Rochelle said. I love that quote so much, that comparison will make you feel either superior, that you're doing better. And there's a little bit of that belittling that can happen around people around you, or inferior, that, oh my gosh, like, I'm not doing enough, I'm not good enough, all of that. So there is something powerful about, I think, being aware of the comparison, knowing when it's a healthy one that actually pushes you and strives you to better things in your life, but also for it not to take you down, because your self-worth is never built on what you have and what you don't have. And so you have to put the blinders on sometimes and just kind of forget what everyone else is doing. Like, sometimes you need this like comparison cleanse where you're just like, I'm going to focus on my life and my money, and everyone else can run their own races. That's great. But what do I need to do for me and my family in this moment? And something about that is so inspiring. Now, one thing you don't have to spend time comparing anymore is medical costs when you partner with a trustworthy organization like Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM has no enrollment deadlines, and you can choose any doctor or hospital you want. And that kind of freedom is big, especially if you're self-employed, between jobs, or you just want more margin in your budget. Because right now, CHM is offering new members a 50% credit towards their first month of membership. So get started at chministries.org/budget and use promo code Ramsey. At chministries.org/budget, promo code Ramsey. All right, the next mindset puzzle piece to get into is gratitude. So something that really combats comparison and that spiral we can get in is gratitude. Like, when you are grateful for what is in your present life, there is something about that changes. It changes not only your whole day, but it changes your whole mindset. Because when you're grateful for that, you're not having to look out for validation for other people around you. And there is something about just sitting in what you have today And there's been studies shown that people have higher levels of joy and happiness in their life when they practice gratitude. And I never want to make this legalistic, but if you can find ways in your daily rhythm to find things that you're grateful for, there is something I really do believe that changes inside of you. So whether that's listing out some things that maybe you currently hoped or prayed for, and you're like, hey, these are things I'm grateful for, or maybe you say it out loud, in the morning, like whatever that looks like for you, there is something powerful about having this level of gratitude. And the truth is too, you guys, I mean, if you're watching this, more than likely, like you're 2% of the whole globe of what we have. Like if you have a roof over your head, if you have a car, gas in your car, if you have food in the refrigerator, like that we are grateful, like on the basic level of what we need of survival in humanity. Like if you have that, like start there, right? Because I know life is hard and you may be in a hard season, but go to like the basics sometimes and just remember that not everyone lives a life like you live or that I live, right? And again, it doesn't have to be this big glamorous life. It's the basics. And when we can get back to that, there's a level of humanity in there that's so, so beautiful. Now, I work with my kids all the time on this because I do think gratitude is such a big step in this mindset of winning financially. And so all of these, whether it's gratitude or generosity, these heart issues are so big. And I actually wrote 3 kids' books about these topics because I think it's so important. And when you can start to say things out loud, especially to your kids, even when they're little, like shaping who they are in these mindsets is so big. And it's one of my favorite things I've ever worked on, even at work, are these kids' books because even like the illustrations, all of it, it's so beautiful. So I'll leave a link down below. If you have a little kid at home or a kid in your life, you can check those books out. Now, one of the biggest perks to living with contentment is generosity. So generosity is a practice that you have to have. It's not only just the mindset of being aware of where to be generous and how to be generous, but the actual act of it will give you joy unlike anything else. There is something so selfless in this, and I think we just live in a world that easily we can be selfish. I do think that we can think about ourselves 24/7 all the time. Like I'm like that. And when you actually stop and see others around you and the need of what they may need, like literally tactically with money, or to be able to bless someone and do something for them, like there is something so beautiful in that. And so the fruit of generosity really does breed thankfulness. It causes you to live a life that is open-handed. And I do think people in life that have this mindset and have this practice, they're very attractive people. Like you can feel it in their spirit when you're around them. So let generosity not just be a mindset, but something that you're actually doing and practicing with money as you're building wealth. Now, a lot of people accidentally forget to include giving and generosity in their budget. That's why I love EveryDollar. It is my favorite budgeting app. And actually, it is the first line item is giving in the EveryDollar app. Like that's how much we believe in this, because when you get in the practice of living life with an open hand, it's huge. So being in a practice of knowing where your money's going, that's a budget. And also, having the priorities in order, which is big. And so that's why giving's at the top. If you want to check out EveryDollar, I'll leave a link down below so you can build possibly your first budget, which is amazing. Or if you are budgeting, make sure you're using it because it is so helpful in day-to-day life. Now, mindset isn't the only way that emotions and money are connected. And I actually had a Harvard professor break all this down for us. So check out my episode, What Happy People Know About Money, with Dr. Arthur Brooks. Oh, this was a great interview. I so enjoy him. So I will leave a link down below if you're listening on podcast, or you can click right here. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.